Hi and welcome to day 12, and we're going to make a really cool Sonic wand ready for the film coming out, Sonic 3, hitting the cinemas in the next couple of days. So we're going to use dark blue 260s, so grab one, grab a 260 dark blue, inflate most of the way, give that a squeeze, and we're going to start then from the nozzle. We're going to measure about 4 fingers, okay, like that. Just a small section, 4 fingers. We're going to give that a squeeze. We're going to make 2 pinch twists. So this one feels really intense. So I'm going to make 2 small bubbles. These are ears. These are going to be about 2 finger, no more than 3 finger. Okay, the 2 bigger ones. So ears then, 2 finger bubbles. And then once I've done that, I'm going to bring that back down and then make a bubble the same size as that. I'm going to grab the knot like this, and I'm just going to rotate that knot around there several times and then push it through to lock it in place. Don't worry about all this mess up here, we'll sort that out in a second. Now we need a white 260. I've got my white 260 in plate. We only need a small section, so about halfway. Okay, once we've got that, I'm going to wrap it around one of these pinch twists at the top. So just hold that knot in place while you rotate that balloon around. Okay, then I'm going to bring it down. I want the same size bubble as this. Wrap it around that twist point and then back up and into the top. So we've got 2 white sections exactly the same size. Once we've wrapped it in, break it off, save that for a different design, and then just lose it in the balloon. So the way I want all this situated is I want an ear on either side, the pinch twist at the back to sit like this across these 2 blue sections, the eyes then, one sitting side by side, this pinch twist then facing down, and I'm just going to position it between the eyes like that to give it a kind of a more intense cross look. Like that, okay, which Sonic has. Once I've done this, I'm going to put this to one side. I'm going to grab another dark blue 260 and I'm going to inflate. Okay, leave about hand grip tape. So I'm going to make a pinch twist followed by a 4 finger bubble and a second pinch twist. So I've done that, I'm going to bring this back down and wrap into that initial pinch twist. So that's what we should have. Leave this connected. Once I've got that, I'm going to grab a scrap of blush 350 or 360. We only need a small section. If you don't have any scraps, then you'll have to have a fresh balloon. And I'm going to wrap that into this. So grab that now. So with my blush balloon, inflate a small section. We don't need too much. Just enough to go across. So grab your balloon you've just made. Yep. I'm going to wrap the nozzle around one of the ends so it's nice and tight. Bring this across to the opposite side and wrap around the pinch twist on the opposite side. Once we've done that, you can break off the remainder. You can either tie it or you can stretch it across and wrap it in. Save you having to tie it. And that's what we have. This blush section then you'll find is slightly bigger than this here because it stretches around, okay? But don't worry about that. Just make sure it's nice and soft because we're going to push a balloon through that hole there, okay? So that's what we have. Once we've got that, grab the balloon we've just been working on and we're going to feed this through that space. Okay, so just be careful. Once we've got it, pull that through, and the eyes then white eyes sit on top of the blush, which is now going to be the mouth. Okay, make sure everything is seated correctly like this, and once we've got to that stage we're going to work with the remainder of this blue 260 which we made the back of the head with. So all I'm going to do is measure about 4 or 5 fingers down, and then I'm going to bring it all the way up to this pinch twist at the back like this. and where it hits that pinch twist I'm going to twist and just wrap it in. So be very careful wrapping it into that pinch twist. Quite fiddly, but we don't want to disturb everything we've made so far. So like that. Now you can judge, we need 2 of these, so it's come up this side and we want it to come back to here. So we can judge it by looking at it, but I'm going to hold it exactly side by side, so then I can trace it. So I know exactly the size I need. And once I've traced it, I'm going to stretch it back and wrap into this side here. So now I know that both of them are exactly the same size. Break off the remainder. And I'm just going to wrap it around that pinch twist and then just lose it in the balloon so you can't see that strap. Straighten it all out. So I'm going to hold the balloon facing me while I just adjust everything to make sure it's all seated correctly. Okay. Take a second or two. I can be very OCD when it comes to my balloon, so I could spend a couple of seconds or a minute just making sure it's perfect. And then the kid gets a balloon and pops it. And it was all in vain. But anyway, that's just kind of the way I'm designed. Right, so once you're happy that it's symmetrical on both sides, okay, we can go ahead and put another spike in the back. So we've got 2, and that's a quick Sonic in its own, and that would look like Sonic. But I like to add that 3rd spike that comes in the middle. So grab another blue 260. So here we have it. Inflate over halfway. We don't need all of this. So that knot then, that was just tied. That's squeeze. We're going to wrap into this pinch twist at the back. So I'm going to hold the knot there, and I'm going to let the balloon do all the work. I'm going to let the balloon rotate around that, puts less pressure on it, and I want it to be seated at the top. Okay, not down here below, at the top. And I'm going to fold that over, and I don't want it to stick it out here. I want to stick it around about there, and where it meets the top of this blue one here, so at the top, I'm just going to judge it by looking at it, and I'm going to squeeze that and twist. Then I'm going to make a hand width bubble, so that's 5 fingers, and then make a small pinch twist. Okay, break off, let this deflate, and with that scrap we've got there, I'm just going to wrap it around that pinch twist and tie it. So now I know that's not going to come undone. Okay, just give that a bend, bit of a bend, and then I'm going to bring that like this. That pinch twist then is going to sit in between them 2 sections. So you see the 2 sections at the back? We'll push it through, and it's going to sit between the white and blue. So once I've pushed it through the back of there and it's sit between that white and blue, it's nowhere for it to go. It's just going to stay there. And friction is going to hold it there, okay? So be careful when you do this. And once you've done that, make sure it doesn't interfere with the complete head structure. And we'll just make sure everything is seated correctly. It kind of gives it that extra dimension, that extra spike at the back. So do you see how that is gone through there like that? If you want, you could bring it through these 2 here as well, but I've just brought it through the top there, because then it kind of sticks out further than these 2. So that's what I've got from the front and from the side. Looks really, really cool. Then all I'm going to do is measure 3 hands down, and that is my wand. Okay, if you want to make a complete figure, refer back to the elf and the reindeer. It's very easy then to make a loop for a body, put our legs through, our arms through, and make a very simple body, and you've got a Sonic. The same hands and the same arms as I made for the reindeer and elf, little cute ones with 3 pinch twists for hands. So you can easily turn that into our really cool Sonic character. But I come down free hands and I twist. Then I always put a couple of pinch twists at the bottom. I've always liked the look of having it that way. That's really intense. You should never bite the balloons, but I felt that if I pop that, it would just explode. So again, I like the look where it's got the free pinch twist at the bottom like that. So that is my really quickish Sonic wand. Again, probably too slow for line work, but quick enough for birthday parties and restaurant work. Now, because it is quick, get my black Sharpie, I draw a black nose and I draw my eyes in and then just draw a grin, a cheeky grin. Okay, if you want to add the nose, it's a scrap of black. I'll just add the nose for you. If you really want to add the nose, make a 2-finger bubble and tie it. I'm not going to pull it too tight, because if you pull it too tight, then it becomes a pinch twist and we don't want it to. So I'll just like that with a bit of scrap to wrap around the head, and all I do is hold that nose in position while I wrap that around that twist point there, and then maybe wrap it around the nose a couple of times and then lose it somewhere in the balloon so you can no longer see it, and that nose will then just sit nice and snug on top of that blush. Again, draw the mouth. If you want to put eyes in, the eyes are actually green, so a couple of green pinch twists, and like we've done in previous models, if you refer back, with a little bubble behind it, it pins it in place. Okay, so but I'm not going to. It's meant to be quick, and that is a really cool Sonic wand. So have a go at that. You add the artwork and then put it in the comments below. If anybody does turn that into a character, I would go about a finger below that head, 2 pinch twists, loop, add the legs, add the arms. I'd love to see how you transform this. So have a go, and hope you get some usage out of that when the film comes out in a couple of weeks.